Welcome to the CBM channel. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am, especially with the season starting to change and the weather getting a little bit cooler. So as the weather's going to get a little bit cooler, it's going to go along with today's menu. We're going to be making a loaded baked potato soup in bread bowls. So let's get right to it. So as you can tell from the groceries, there's really not anything too intimidating. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So the first thing we're going to do is prep our bacon. And so what we're going to do to prep our bacon is we're just going to cut these into thin slices. A lot of people say it's easier to cut through frozen bacon, and that's, probably definitely true, but this is not frozen, so we're going to see how it goes. So now that we have our bacon all cut up, what I'm going to do, instead of a pan, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in a pot so that way we can make our fat, also the fat content of the soup. So let's get right into it. So while I'm already right here at the cutting board and nothing's really gone on quite yet, I'm going to go ahead and prep my garlic, which is just going to be a rough dice. Alright, so now that our pot's rip roaring ready, I put just a touch of oil in it just so I'm not sticking bacon in a dry pan. So now we're going to go ahead and add our bacon. And also, while this bacon is going, what I'm going to do is warm up a little bit of milk so that way it'll froth up. Oh, my neck! So now that the bacon's done and the milk's almost done, I'm going to add some flour in here just to thicken up this fat. Then we're going to whisk this in so that way it thickens up. Alright, so I'm pretty sure that's enough flour. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our milk, we're going to go ahead and add that in. Oh shoot. Okay, so as you can see, these are already baked. I did these yesterday because my camera battery died and it didn't charge in time for me to cook because I ran out of daylight. Anyway, so these are already baked and really squishy, and you may be wondering why they're not cut up into thicker pieces. Well, because when you eat a baked potato, think about this. Do you eat the toppings and then take a bite of the potato? No, you eat it all combined. So what I'm gonna do is I've made these to where they're super soft and it's gonna combine into the whole soup. So now that said, let's go and add our potatoes in the soup. So now we're just gonna go ahead and add our potato. And along with our potatoes, we're gonna add some cheese. So now that that's all combined, I added a little more sour cream and milk and all that just to mellow it out. And so now we're gonna add in our pepper, our salt, some onion powder, and garlic powder. And be sure to taste as you season so that way you know if you need more or not. So after some configuration, I added a lot more pepper and a little bit more onion powder as well, and just a touch more milk just to try and mellow out that bacon flavor. And so now that this is done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep the bread bowls. So now that we have our bread, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and cut around this edge right here, peel this off, and just take all the bread out of the center so that way we have a little bit more room. And do not waste this bread because you can easily bake this and make it as like a dipping. So now that you have your bread bowls, what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill these with soup and bake these at 350 degrees for a few minutes. Alright, so I put the bowls onto a baking pan, and so I'm just gonna put a tad bit of cheese on the bottom. And then we'll go in with our soup. Almost forgot, a pinch of bacon in each. So now that our oven's ready to go at 350 degrees, you can put the tops back on them, but I personally am not, so we're just gonna stick these in the oven for a few minutes. So now that these are out of the oven, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna top these with some sour cream, a touch more cheese, and make it look nice, and then we'll taste it. So first up, we're gonna grab our plate. Then we're gonna grab our bread bowl, put a little bit of sour cream on top. Then we're gonna put on just a touch of cheese, touch of bacon bits, and a little bit of green onion. Alright, so now that this thing's made, I don't know if you can hear this or not, but check this out, listen. That bread is super crispy. Alright, so now let's go ahead and give this thing a taste. This thing tastes so good. My only complaint is that it is just a little too bacony for my liking. Some of you may love this, but for me, it is just a little overpowering. But that aside, this thing tastes phenomenal. The bread itself is toasted perfectly, which I don't know if you can hear that or not in the audio, but I'll see if I can make it happen. But this thing is perfect for cold weather. It's nice and warm, and it's not too heavy. 10 out of 10, go try this one. Stay tuned for more banging recipes.